Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Sri Radha Madhava ki Sri Radha Giridhari ki Gaura Premanandi Jayo Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paribrajika Jaja Shuddha Sisi Mad His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajika Jaja Shuddha Sisi Mad His Divine Grace Bhakti Saranta Saraswati Gosa Maharaj Prabhupada ki Jai Nantakoti Vaishnava Vrindi ki Jai Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Samveda Bhakti ki Jai Ghora Premanandi Hari Hari Bo all glories to the assembled devotees all glories Sisi Guru and Sri Gauranga. Hey, Bhakti Zach, could I ask a favor of you? Please, thank you. I have space out. I should ask you for my memory before I give class, and I would remember them myself. So this morning we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 8, Verse 32. I know, I'm just saying who's listening. Verse 34. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Excuse me. Narayanam namaskricham naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamidyariyat. So this is the verse today. Everyone has their devices. Gunarikan mudan lipsed anukroshan gunadhamad Maitrim samanad avichen natapar abhibhuyate Gunarikan mudhan lipsed anukroshan gunadamat Maitrim samanad avichen natapar abhibhuyate Gunadikam mudam lipsed Anukroshan gunadamat Maitrim samanat avichan Natapir abhibhuyate. The chant? Gunadikam mudalipsed
Maitrim samanaram vichin
Tapar abhibhuyate. Gunadikan mudan lipsed Maitrim samanat avichan Natapar abhibhuyate. Gunadikam mudan lipsed Anukarosham gunadamat Maitrim samanat avichan Natapar abhibhuyate. Gunadikam mudam lipsed Anukroshan gunadamat Maitrim samanat avichan Natapar abhibhuyate. Anyone else? Gunadikam mudam lipsed Anukroshan gunadamat Maitrim samanat avichan Natapar abhibhuyate. Word for word. Guna adikat. One who is more qualified. Mudam. Pleasure. Lipset. One should feel. Anukroshan. Compassion. Guna adamat. One who is less qualified. Maitrim, friendship. Samanat, with an equal. Anvichet, one should desire. Not. Tapai, by tribulation. Abhibhuyate, becomes affected. Translation and purport. Srila Prabhupada. Every man should act like this. When he meets a person more qualified than himself, he should be very pleased. When he meets someone less qualified than himself, he should be compassionate toward him. And when he meets someone equal to himself, he should make friendship with him. In this way, one is never affected by the threefold miseries of this material world. Please repeat. Every man should act like this. When he meets a person more qualified than himself, he should be very pleased. When he meets someone less qualified than himself, he should be compassionate toward him. And when he meets someone equal to himself, he should make friendship with him. In this way, one is never affected by the threefold miseries of this material world. Purport. Generally, when we find someone more qualified than ourselves, we become envious of him. When we find someone less qualified, we deride him. And when we find someone equal, we become very proud of our activities. These are the causes of all material tribulations. The great sage Narada therefore advised that a devotee should act perfectly. Instead of being envious of a more qualified man, one should be jolly to receive him. Instead of being oppressive to a less qualified man, one should be compassionate toward him, just to raise him to the proper standard. And when one meets an equal, instead of being proud of one's own activities before him, one should treat him as a friend. One should also have compassion for the people in general who are suffering due to forgetfulness of Krishna. These important functions will make one happy within this material world. Om Agyan Timirandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksul Unminitam Dena Taismai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Kind of interesting when you start a class and a third of the people leave right when you start speaking. Reminds me, I saw this documentary years ago. It's just a sidelight. It's about the history of the Jewish comedians in this country. You know, back in our day, they were quite popular, very, very popular. And they would perform at one place called the, what's up, upstate New York? Catskills. That was, you know, the Catskills. And one comedian was saying that when they start, the way you could tell you're doing good or not, you watch how many people start going out the door up above. You count how many people leave during your act, you know, like that. So, because Jewish people are very, very particular, like that. So, if they didn't like you, they let you know. They just walked out. So, you get a little self-conscious when you got 6 devotees and 2 just leave when you start speaking. So, anyways, I won't let it get to me. Okay, so this is a very good instruction here, and you could take it just on the mundane level of human interaction. You know, there is a saying that 80% of your happiness in life will come from other people. And that says 80% of all your suffering in life will also come from other people. So how we interact with other people is extremely significant and important in life. No man is an island unto himself. Is that the verse? I don't know what the rest of it is, but in other words, we're social beings, and we have to interact with others. You know, sometimes people try not to. Oh, that person's a loner. That person is, what's another word for that? A hermit, like that, or just sometimes you hear about these people who are just off in the middle of South Dakota up in the hills somewhere, and they just don't want to be around anyone or what have you, like that. Antisocial, or these they turn into Unabombers or something like that, but not necessarily. But the point is, sometimes people like that, but where's the happiness in that? Real happiness comes from interaction with others. I mean, that's our basic philosophy, is that the soul is an eternal person. And this endeavor of the impersonalists and so on, and nihilists, the Buddhists and so on, they're trying to annihilate personality. Why is that? Is because they're so unhappy with what's their experience of personality. Lord Buddha especially, he said that his different principles, very simple principles, were there. The fact that we're all suffering in this material world because of our desires, so what's the solution is to annihilate our personality, our desires and our personality, then you won't have any more suffering. Prabhu said the example is given you build a house, you know, the trouble with the mortgage and this and that, so what's the solution? Burn the house down. What? Yeah, just burn the house down, no more problems. So that's not the solution. So the point is, our philosophy is we're eternally persons, and the key to real happiness is our interaction with others. And of course, as I said earlier, this could be taken just on a mundane platform, but as we know, the different instructions given in the scriptures, they're taken on different levels. You can take them on different levels, and actually meant to be given on different levels, because people understand according to their own consciousness. So this could be taken as on a very mundane level, just, you know, social intercourse and so on. But all the instructions are given on a very mundane level. They're given on the level of sadhakas, those who are trying to advance in Krishna consciousness, and they're also for those who are already fully Krishna conscious. They can be taken on all different levels according to our own level of consciousness. So here's just some very, very good advice about our interaction with others. So much so that Prabhupada says these are the causes of all material tribulations, how we mistreat others, or we don't interact with them properly. As I said earlier, that one statistic is given, I don't know where it's from, but one speaker said that 80% of all your happiness will come from other people, and 80% of all your suffering will come from other people too, depending on how we relate to them. So we all meet people on different levels. The idea of everyone's all the same is ridiculous. There are different classes. There's the varnas and ashrams. There's no such thing as a classless society. There's no such thing really as material equality. Just like if I asked the two of you to stand up and jump as high as you can, who do you think would jump higher? Okay, there you go. He said, it's already settled, so you don't have to do it. No demonstration necessary. But no, we're all equal. No, he can jump higher than you. Who's more intelligent? He raises his hand again. Okay, so, but materially there's no equality. We're all different. So you're always going to run into people, you're always going to meet people who are more qualified than you. So just like you're sitting next to someone who can jump higher than you and is more intelligent than you. So what are you going to do? You're going to be envious? You're going to offer him all respects, right? You're going to be, as Prabhu says here, jolly whenever you see him. Okay, you're going to be very, very jolly, very happy. Why is that happiness is there? On the mundane level is that person can help you, right? And maybe you can ask for some instruction. How do you jump so high? How are you so intelligent? He can help you out. And then on your side, because he is less than you in that regard, you'll be compassionate instead of just saying, forget it, Charlie. You know, I jump higher than you and I'm more intelligent than you and get out of my way. That's the envious person, right? So, you know, from a devotee point of view, what's the devotee's point of view? No, the devotee's point of view in relationships with people is offering all respects to others. Amanidam manadena. We'll read a little bit about that. I have some time. So that's materialist is not thinking about that. And also you're seeing everyone as spirit soul. And of course everyone's better than you. Because the devotee's so humble. Of course everyone's better than me. And I'm offering all respect and I'm asking for some kindness and mercy and so on. But it's saying here, someone's greater than you, you're always going to meet someone who's more qualified. You're always going to meet someone who is less qualified. So what are you going to do? Does your mind immediately just exploit that person? You feel very, very good about yourself and you just don't want to give them an inch. You push them down. And then you meet people who are on the equal level. You'd think there'd be some friendship, but people like boasting about themselves. Oh, you know what I did? Do you know what my Sankirtan score was yesterday? You know, or something like that, or whatever it is, the devotees, or whatever it is. Somehow or other, you meet an equal, there's some bravado there, right? Even though we're equal, instead of being friends, there's some competition. We're competing, like that. Right, they're obviously not less than me, they're obviously not greater than me, but still there's some competition. So this is a material concept of life. So how can there be happiness in human interaction unless this is followed? You can see it's all due to enviousness of others that we react in this way, and therefore Prabhupada says so many tribulations. So I guess you, in your more quiet moments, you can think about all the problems in the world in relationship to this verse. Because whether it's individuals or countries or societies, right, it's always like that. You're envious of those who have more power, and what do? You want to go and get it yourself. Like that. Those who are less, you step on them, whether it's economically less or they're not as strong. And this is social Darwinism, right? Right? Social Darwinism. It's there in nature. If you're stronger, you're supposed to exploit the weak. Right? And just weeding out the less advanced races and persons. That's what you're supposed to do, right? And Hitler tried to do it by breeding a whole race of blue-eyed, blonde people, very systematically, and erasing. I guess that's a very sanitized way of putting it. Erasing from society those who didn't look like that, who weren't like that. And he just said, well, that's social Darwin. That's Darwin's theory of evolution. Yeah, the more advanced will rise up, and the others just get rid of them. They're a botheration, right? There's an understanding of Vedic culture. There are 5 members of society which are weak. They're weak. You know what those are? What's one of them? Women. What's another one? They're weak. There's 5 members of society who are are weak. What? Elderly, children, disease. No. You're right, but it's not on that list. Cows, and the scrawny Brahmins. Right, the scrawny Brahmins. We don't have much power. So how these 5 are treated is an indication of how advanced the civilization is. Right, right. So you see, in a very materialistic civilization, look around. How are the cows treated? How are the Brahmins treated? How are the women treated? How are the elderly treated? And the Brahmins, they're not even on the radar. And the children, they're just not there. It's just a very scary situation like that. Because they're weaker. Oh, let's take advantage of them. Let's take advantage of the animals. They can't fight back. Let's chop them up and eat them. Let's take advantage of the old people. Get rid of them. Right? Euthanasia, this, that, the other. Just put them away in some place. Right? They're no longer valuable, so let's just get rid of them. Right? They're just like the cows. They're no longer valuable. Kill them. They don't give milk anymore. Kill them. Children, they're all exploited like that. Women are exploited. Just anyone who's weak is exploited because of envy and material desire like that, to rise to the top. Rise to the top. Just you rise to the top by standing on others instead of by helping others. Because they say if you help others up, you move up too. In fact, they say that in management. You should train your subordinates. You should train yourself right out of your position. You bring them up, like that. They take over your position. You keep going up too, because everyone's like that. You're on top. There was a rises with the tide, right? So everyone goes up. Instead of keep pushing down, bring everyone up, and you rise up also. So that's the proper mentality. So in Krishna consciousness, it's described that there are three kinds of devotees. How recently did you do this verse in the Upadeshamrita? 5, number 5. What? Yesterday? Okay. Are you on 5 right now? Good. It's fresh in your memory. This Krishneti Yasagiri. Okay. One should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisance to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation, is engaged in worshipping the deity, and one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. So in this verse which you are meticulously studying, it describes the 3 levels of devotees. Am I allowed to ask you a question? What are the 3 levels of devotees? Kanishta, Madhyam, Uttama. So you're reading about you relate to devotees. Prabhu said the whole Upadeshamritas we're devotees. We're in a society of devotees, but not everyone's the same. It's not all beige or all saffron or whatever you want to say. There's differences, and the etiquette is you have to learn how to behave properly in a society, and there's different ways you treat different people. I remember my mother told me once. I have one nephew who's he's a very nice boy. He's actually clinically a little bit off, but he's always been a little bit funny. I'll just put it that way. And he came over. He's maybe 19 or 20 now, but this is just a few years ago. He came knocking on the door and calling out her name instead of Grandma. So I answered the door and said, "Don't you do that? You call me Grandma. You don't call me by my first name. You're my grandson." In other words, just common etiquette. You don't call your, right? He says, do you ever do that?
Yeah, we always did.
Get out of here. Oh, yes, very modern. Oh, yeah. You never do that. You have some respect.
Well, my mom changed her name, and she had to start calling me by her changed name.
Oh, okay. But usually that's not done. There's some respect is given. It's not on an equal level like that. I mean, in Vedic culture, in the olden days, the wife even never called the husband by her name. It was by Prabhu or something like that, out of respect. It's too familiar, at least in public. Like that. And in the house, probably calls him all kinds of names, depending on if he's behaving himself, like that, right? So there's all kinds of other names for those times. But there's different levels of devotees, and you interact with them differently. So the first one is the Kanishta. One who, like they were saying here, if someone's less advanced than you, so what do? You take advantage of that? No, you always try to help them. Encouraging words. Actually, we may get to it. It's in here. How do you help the devotee who's less advanced than you? By appreciation and trying to enliven them. That's what you do. That's how you relate to someone who is less advanced than you. By appreciating them, encouraging them, like that. So someone on the same level, right? Someone on the same level, there's friendship there, camaraderie, like that, shoulder to shoulder, like that. Yes, and there's the 6 symptoms of loving exchange. How do you know what those are? How many verses? That was just the previous one, 4. Remember that? How's the memory? Like that. What's the first thing? Yes, yes. And then the next one? Okay. Well, it's the Prashadam's last, right? Like that. That's a good one. That's easy. So that's how you reciprocate. There's some reciprocation there with the devotees. Otherwise, what's the relationship? And then those who are more advanced than you want to learn from them. That's human society. There are members who are wise, experienced. It's just natural you want to inquire from them. Why do people go to school? What's the qualification of the teacher? Hopefully more than the student. My oldest daughter, Chintami, went to this one school for a very short time, a magnet school out there in like Kearney Mesa or something like that. And just because she couldn't handle this school down the street here. So Mission High School was like insane. She was a devotee, she couldn't handle it. Anyways, what happens is they go to school, and their philosophy is there's no difference between the students and the teachers. They all decide what will be taught, and everyone's on a first-name basis. And you got out of there real quick. Went to one of the meetings, of the teachers and the parents and all that. It's a bunch of hippies that did a little too much what. And the school closed within a year. But, we didn't know all that, but that was a big thing. Oh, the teachers shouldn't tell us what to do. Kids and teachers should together decide what they're going to learn, how long the class is going to be, what the subjects are. What kind of school is that? Even the students, after a while, don't like it because if you don't learn anything. If you're in an environment like that, you feel very unsettled. I'm not learning anything here. Why am I here? Why do I even go? Why should I go? I might as well just hang out on the street. Right? So school, there's a learned person. That's, an eternal fact. You're going to school to hear from someone, learn from something you don't know. They know more than you. They're more experienced. That's what learning is all about. So in every society you have elderly members, those who are further along the path, who should be offered all respect because of age and learning. Just like amongst devotees, there's different reasons one is considered senior to you. What's one of them? Spiritual advancement. Okay. Physical age. Knowledge of the Shastras. Initiated before you. It's like Jamuna, I was talking the other day, we were both initiated the same year. And we're the same age by a few months or something like that. So I said, we're going to have a hard time. Like, who gets prasadam first? And he's bigger, yeah. So I said, you're bigger than me. You can, so you go first. But, you may be, this person may be your spiritual master's godbrother, godsister. Like that. So it's just etiquette is there. Just etiquette. Etiquette makes society. What is etiquette? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, etiquette is the real ornament on the devotee. What makes a devotee, what's an ornament? An ornament makes you look beautiful. We're not talking about like Christmas ornaments. We're talking about jewelry. You have some nice ornaments, you look good. Makes you look good. If you don't have good etiquette, you don't look very good. Right? Someone who's ill-behaved, whichever way you want to go on that one, they're unwelcome. They're just people, just like Ramachandra Puri when he came to Jagannath Puri. So ill-behaved. Still, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very respectful because he was godbrother of his spiritual uncle. So he was always very respectful and so on. But all the devotees are complaining. In fact, when he left, what was the analogy? Do you know the analogy? A big like rock. You're carrying a big rock around, you finally can take it off. Like that when he left Puri, it's like, shoo-wee. Just such a caustic, nasty personality, offensive, always arranging to create a reason for offending. It's one thing if you go see some problems, but you create a problem, then you tell them you got a problem, right? He would invite the devotees to eat. He would make sure they overate, then as soon as they finish, he would criticize them for overeating. You may think I've done that to you by giving you that big plate, right? Oh, he gave me this big plate. Now I fill it up, and every time there's breakfast, Dharmasetu complains about how much I eat. And he's like Ramachandra Puri. Is that what you think? Did I do that? Maybe I did, right? Maybe I'm like Ramachandra Puri. Give you a big plate. You have a big one too. I didn't give you that one though. He said, oh, look how much you eat. But it's your fault. You gave me the plate. You gave me a small plate. So Ramachandra Puri was like that. He's just actually looking for reasons to criticize. So etiquette is extremely important. Very, very important. So the etiquette of Vaishnava culture. And it also gets very, 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 very subtle. So we're learning, you're learning, that's why Upadesharamrita is there. You know, you can understand it, but sometimes it's very, very, very subtle. Very, very subtle, the interactions between devotees and so on. And people in general, it can get very, very subtle. Just a glance, just almost saying something, right? So I have this one little magnet in my home, and it's a man and a woman sitting there like in a field or something, and the woman saying, sorry I misunderstood you, but in my defense I wasn't listening. Right? I wasn't listening. So subtleties of human interaction, you'd be very, very careful, something like this and that. So these are things. So it's almost ending. I wanted to read very, very good instruction here, because we're talking about the basis of all this is humility, because the basis of the other side is pride. Due to pride, we don't know how to behave properly with people who are more elevated than us, on this less than us, so to speak, and even on the same level. You'd think you'd at least get that one right, but we don't get that one right. Envy is so deeply rooted. So in this third verse of the SIKSASTAKAM, which is, okay, got that one right. There's some commentary here, which I thought was very, very good. Yes, there's purports, there's Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta. Okay. It's Sri Shastastikam, and this is translated by Sarvabhavana Das. And, okay, just, there's a paragraph, because we're talking about amanidhamanadena. One to offer all respects to others and not expecting any in return. So, freedom of all spirits. Let's just read this here. The word amani describes the third quality of the devotee who chants offenselessly. A spotless heart free from false ego and false prestige. It says here, all gross and subtle bodily designations are derived from the mode of ignorance. Yes, Sloka 3. This is near the end of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary. Yogic mystic powers. They won't have to worry about that here? Does anyone have any mystic powers you have to worry about? Being tall isn't one of them, but okay. It's getting close, though. You're up there. Material opulence, natural beauty, high birth, strength, social status, influence over the others, etc., are all but a function of false ego and are incompatible with real spiritual identity. To completely reject these false designations is to have a spotless heart, devoid of mundane ego and false prestige. He who, in spite of having every reason to be proud, demonstrates tolerance, humility, and a spotless heart is a fit candidate to chant purely. A devotee of Krishna, whether he is a Brahmana living in the house, must subdue the pride of being a Brahmana, and if he is living in a renounced life in the forest, or a cold ashram in SanDiego, must conquer the supercilious attitude, careful to avoid becoming proud of being a Brahmin, of being a renunciate. He should simply concentrate on the lotus feet of Krishna and chant his holy name. The next word, manada, means to offer all respect to others. This is the fourth symptom of the devotee who chants without offenses. He understands that all living entities are eternal servants of Lord Krishna, so he's never envious of anyone. That's the key. He sees everyone as an eternal servant of Krishna, spirit soul. He pleases everyone with sweet and sincere words, and his exemplary life brings benediction to the whole world. In this world he offers his respect to distinguished personalities and learned Brahmins, and to Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other demigods he offers his obeisance with utmost humility, praying to them to increase his devotion to Lord Krishna. So that's how one approaches one who's more in a higher position, asking them, right? Praying to them to increase his devotion to Lord Krishna. To elevated Vaishnavas and pure devotees, he offers his services with heart and soul. So it's not just asking for blessings, it's also rendering service. You know, it's not like gimme, gimme, gimme. It's can I do some service for you? That is the natural relationship between higher and lower, is to render some service. You're rendering some service. And the higher is always offering benedictions. You see this in Indian culture, even with parents and children and so on. You know, the children to come, touch the feet of the parents touch the head, give some blessing. I see this at weddings all the time. Like that, they'll bring the parents, give a blessing to the bride and groom, then they'll have the uncles, and then the grandparents, and they all do that, and to offer some respect, and then they give some blessing and so on. That's just natural, you're expecting that. Like that, you offer some respect, and the blessings are there. It's proper etiquette in human society. And I think there's a little bit here. Okay, this is called the glories of humility. A pure devotee understands that these words of praise and appreciation are not empty, mundane vauntings, but acknowledgement of spiritual qualities. So in other words, when someone praises, there's some praising of devotees. Okay? And if the foolish misinterpret this as mundane, then he tolerates their railings, thus exhibiting deep forbearance. This is his nature. The unalloyed Vaishnava who chants offensively considers himself to be lower than the straw on the street that is trampled by the walking masses. A true saint never thinks himself to be a Vaishnava or claims to be a guru. He regards himself humbly as a disciple of the whole world and as the most meek and fallen soul. Knowing every atom and the infinitesimal spirit soul as a residence of Lord Krishna, he never mistreats anyone as his inferior. That's an amazing statement. Seeing every atom and every jiva as a residence of the Supersoul. He is never wanting anything, nor does he require anything from anyone. Even if others are envious and spiteful of him, he never retaliates. On the contrary, he prays for the well-being of his tormentors. One last thing, I just heard a quote recently. I've heard this before. It says, humility is the receptacle of mercy. You heard this one before? Humility, your humility is the receptacle of mercy. That's where you're going to catch all the mercy coming from Krishna and the devotees, is our humility. So, we can end here. There's probably some discussion on this very important point. I'll leave it open. Balaram Das Brahmachari.
Yeah, so in relation to this, this idea of etiquette and seniority and equal and all this kind of stuff, the idea of, because sometimes you could say the urge or the temptation to abuse one's position may be there. That, okay, hey, well, I'm older, so you better listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because whatever, I'm older by age, you better listen to me. Or whatever thing that supposedly makes the person senior. It does make the person senior. The idea of abusing that, sometimes that comes up. So it's like, okay, the etiquette's there, yeah, you should respect the seniors. And okay, well, hey, I'm a senior, so you better respect me, type of thing. So maybe you could just comment on that, that idea of not falling into that trap, because that's I don't know, I would think a thing that could hamper somebody's spiritual
Okay.
ideas that could make one think that they're senior and therefore avoid them.
Okay. Well, that's a very good question, and I think it's not only in that relationship you're talking about, but all three levels. If one is very materialistic, and then there's problems. One can be take advantage of whatever position they're in, just like someone may be in an inferior position, but due to a very gross materialistic concept of life, they don't want to listen to anyone, even if it's good instruction. Or even you may have good association, but you don't want to take it. So in all levels, on all levels, the problem, the difficulties are consciousness, or the point is that is our consciousness. There'll always be people who are more advanced. There'll always be people less advanced. There'll always be people who are equals. But what is the consciousness? As we said earlier in the class, those who are in a greater position, they're always trying to encourage and always trying to bring up those who are in a lower position, to help them, right? If we use our senior position to exploit, take advantage of, make fun of, ridicule, whatever, then that's improper. And then you can go through all the different levels. If you are in a lower position, just like a student and teacher, and you don't think anyone can teach you anything, then you got a problem. You got a situation there. What is that? This is 3 words which completely negate your ability to learn anything. You know what that is?
I know everything.
Yeah, I know everything. So that in the lower, I know everything. I already know it. You can't tell me anything. I know everything. So it's the mentality. So the whole thing is we're trying to revive, not create, but revive the proper mentality of being humble and compassionate, trinada, peace. What are those 4 things? If you have those 4 things, just like that instruction right there. Sometimes I talk to people in preaching. I don't even bring up the chanting of the holy names. I just tell them these 4 things. About being more humble than the blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respects to others. That's the key to being happy in life, if you think about it. And in our world today, it's just the opposite. Who is humble? Who's tolerant? Who's like that? That's the problem. So in all situations, the more that we're reading here, the more we have these 4 qualities, then all these problems will go away. Like that. And as we brought up with Ramachandra Puri, if we're in a situation where a devotee is not acting properly, it says, what did the scriptures say? You offer them respects from a distance, but you don't associate closely. But you offer them all respects. Just like it says here, you offer respects to all jivas. So that's the point. You may have to offer respects like that. Did I answer your question a little bit? Yes. Trying to save money here at the temple.
So, in the beginning,
the 80%?
Yeah, 80% of happiness comes from relationships, and also 80% of stress. And I feel like the distress part can come because of expectations. So, on a couple of occasions, I've heard Prabhupada say that love means exchange. You give to me, I give to you. But how do we keep our relationships based in the love rather than the expectation of the exchange itself?
Well, I don't think you can separate the two, because if I say I love you and I don't do a darn thing for you, where's the love? So unless you want to reconstruct the question. I mean, there's expectations, then they become selfish. Love means you're always giving without any, pure love means you're giving without any desire for something in return. That's pure. Okay? And when you just want, that's not love at all. So So one doesn't just. That was one of the lines in what I just read here from the Shikshastakam. One's completely satisfied in their Krishna consciousness. They don't really want anything. I don't really want anything from you. I don't want anything from you. I don't want anything from you. What can a brahmachari give me anyways? No, it's not like that. I'm saying you don't want anything. I don't want anything from you. I don't want anything from someone. That's quite amazing to have that type of purity of heart. Because in the material world, we always want something. We always measure every single person we meet. What can they give me? What can I get from this person? Like that, whatever it may be. But the devotee is so happy in Krishna consciousness, they don't really want anything. They just want to, actually just want to associate and glorify Krishna together. That's the greatest happiness. That's Vrindavan. That's the spiritual world. All the devotees together, just serving Krishna, chanting Hare Krishna, enjoying service to Krishna together. That's the greatest happiness, and that's greater than any type of thing you can give me. Why is it? The story is given many times. Why is it that when Giriraj Maharaj's father came and offered him a check for $1 million, he put it back in his pocket. Because being with Prabhu was better than the $1 million. That was $1 million back in the 70s, right? I don't know what it's worth now. But you just take it and put it back in the pocket. Thank you. Because you're just so happy. Like that. So, does that answer the question? Or did I even get near it? Yes. Well, okay. Well, the point is you don't need something, but you may expect something because it's proper etiquette. It's a little odd that you do things for people and they just shine you on. They don't reciprocate. That is a little odd. That's not appropriate. But the point is, a devotee, that's not going to they're still rendering their service. Their main thing is to please Krishna and their spiritual master. And that's what they're doing. And in that service to Krishna and the spiritual master, if other devotees, their etiquette is improper, this or that, I'm not doing this just, to, get stuff from other devotees or what have you. My main is pleasing Krishna. And it's very unfortunate that someone doesn't even say thank you or, reciprocate. That's sad, And maybe just by setting a good example in due course of time, that the things will come around. But the devotee's real happiness is their service, not, waiting to see, hey, I did this for him. Well, I gave him a samosa. Will he give me two? What? It's like that's not. I just gave him a samosa because. That's not loving exchange. That's an investment. Right. So it can disturb the mind, yes. But it shouldn't disturb us to the point where it affects our service and so on, because that's our real happiness. Like that. Yes, Brian.
I was just thinking along those lines is that someone who's, say, pure-hearted, you can freely go around just like showering everybody with love and affection and service, and you don't expect anything from them in return. However, if you're going around serving other people and they don't give you anything in return, you're still not expecting something from them, but you just say, okay, this person's a low-class person, so I'll offer respect from a distance. And this person over here who is reciprocating with me, even though I'm not expecting it, I'll be more affectionate with them because they're behaving properly. So that way you just don't expect anything from anybody, but if somebody treats you improperly, then you just offer respect from a distance. And then if someone treats you properly, then you can associate with them more closely.
Yeah.
That way you're not like demanding friendship from anybody. Like, hey, I gave you this, and this, therefore you owe me friendship. You don't demand friendship from anybody. You just, if someone wants to be friendly in return, then you have a friend. And if they don't want to be friendly in return, then you just offer respect from a distance.
Yeah, there's different levels of relationships. You have very, very close friends. You have close friends. You have acquaintances. Like that. So there's different levels of relationships. So.
but
Yeah.
I still feel like feelings of affection for them.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't ever want to talk to them very much.
right, right. Yeah, you can love someone but not like them. Get married. Is this being broadcast? I'm finished. Not referring to my own religion. That's a joke. That's a brahmachari joke. Just wanted to qualify that. That's a brahmachari joke. Okay, just trying to keep you brahmachari. Okay.
Even on the material platform, materialists can love somebody but not want to be around them. Like,
Yes.
the parents, if their son turns into a drug addict, they still love the son.
Yes,
but they,
that's the point.
They don't want to even see him or talk to him.
Exactly.
There's such bad consciousness.
Right. Right. I mean, the great souls, they love all living entities, but it doesn't mean that you interact with them all equally. And you embrace the tiger, something like that. You know, we love all them, but we don't let all the sneaky homeless people in here at Mangalarti. Not that they're lined up at the door or anything like that, but I mean, you offer more respect, maybe give them prasad, and send them on their way, but you reciprocate with everything. Krishna says, Yeya tamam papajanti tam sataiva bhajamyaham. Krishna says the same thing. As you approach me, I reciprocate. So what can you expect? Otherwise, you're a fool. You're a damn fool, right? If you let other people walk all over you or like that, you don't understand relationships, right? People are sometimes like that. These relationships, they go, oh, some men and women, and they always pick a partner that just completely takes advantage of them, right? What's that about? You know, you got to learn. So.
It seems like if someone walks all over you and you get mad at them, it's because, like Jamal said, it's because you're putting expectations on them. You're expecting them to behave in such a way that is pleasing to your mind. But you can't go around and demand that all jivas around you behave in such a way that's pleasing to your mind.
Not going to happen.
So what you want to be saying happy this morning is don't put any expectations on anybody. And it's very simple. If you extend yourself in a friendly way to somebody and they don't reciprocate, then just don't be friends with them. Fine. And those that do reciprocate, then you can be friends with them.
Yeah.
But just don't expect anybody to reciprocate in any way, shape, or form.
Yes.
And don't hate them if they don't reciprocate what you're doing.
Well, it seems like dropping an expectation is a subtle form of like hankering for something. So how do you? It doesn't seem so simple to just drop an expectation. It seems like a complex thing.
Well, we have to learn. You have to learn. That's part of growing up. As you're saying, we have to learn how to, and it's at this verse here, we have to learn how to associate with others in this world. And there's different categories, and there's different categories of how people reciprocate with us. And so it's all part of learning, so you don't have a broken heart. And people get in these relationships, whether it's men and women or just friends or whatever, and because of not following that example and having improper expectations and so on, you get hurt. So, you get hurt. So the point is, rising to the spiritual platform, seeing everyone, as said here, eternal servants of the Lord, trying to give everyone Krishna consciousness, acting on that level, and there are wonderful relationships there also between devotees. So we have to maneuver. Just like ISKCON's a huge society, there are devotees in this movement that you can't stand being in the same room with. There will be devotees like that. But you offer more respects, but people are different, right? There are people who live in bigger plates than yours, right? Maybe, and you'll go, just an example. It can't be, right? Right? Frog in the well, like that. So that's just life. That's just life. But seek out, the intelligent is seek out that good association of like-minded devotees, you know? Seek out the association of like-minded devotees and enjoy serving Krishna together in that association. That's what we need to do, like that, for our spiritual advancement. So we can end here. Went back to Godhead. Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.